good afternoon, and good evening, Solve community. This is Pradeep Goel, and first of all, I want to wish everyone a very happy, Merry Christmas and a holiday season full of time with family, and I hope that you get to celebrate and enjoy yourself. It has been a momentous year for many of you, certainly for us, and I do hope that this is a time of gratitude and reflection that you take full advantage of. Having said that, let's begin with a full update on the company. It has been a few weeks since I had the opportunity to work with you, to speak with you all. We have been working round the clock, practically, every single day for the last several weeks, leading up to a significant progress and a strong close for the year. So I look forward to giving you all an update, and we're going to hope that there is plenty of time left for Q&A. But again, as always, there is a lot of material to cover, and I'll try to do about a 40-minute presentation and then leave 20 minutes for the Q&A. And if you run out of time for the Q&A, then I will make myself available this weekend, actually on the 25th, and try to answer your questions that remain unanswered because we run out of time. But we have much to cover, and I'm quite excited to have this session with you all. So let's get started. So Natalia will switch us to the presentation mode, and I'll walk you through much of the content that I wish to share with you. So here we go. First, I want to make sure that we satisfy the lawyers. And one of the things that we have been told is that all the information sessions that we do with the community must be understood as exactly that, information and educational sessions. These are not solicitations for investment. My discussions with you all is purely in the interest of keeping you all informed. And I really hope that you will use this information to keep abreast of what Solve.Care is doing and how we are performing and what we plan to do. And this is not in any way, shape or form should be thought of as investment related advice or expression or solicitation of any other actions on your part. Please use this information wisely. Please use caution at all times. And make sure that if you have any questions about Solve.Care, you reach out to us directly and not rely upon third parties to tell you what they might think is going on. And we are very open. We love to share what's happening with the company. We're not afraid of the competition copying us, because they will try and they will fail. And I'm not particularly concerned about hiding things. And as I've already told you many times in the past, I prefer to announce to you what has been done rather than to talk much about the future. So a lot of our information is about what we did in the last 30, 60, 90 days. And today's session will be the same. So again, the disclaimer in a nutshell is this is not a solicitation for investment or any advice related to investments. And we are here to share with you what the company is doing and why and how and where our focus is. So let's begin. Having satisfied the lawyers. The most important thing that I want to talk about, and I'm really proud of, is the incredible effort that the team has been putting in the last several months in launching the Diabetes Care Network. And I'm incredibly proud of what the team has built in partnership with Boehringer Ingelheim and the administrative function of this network in the hands of multiple ACOs. So what we have built is a unique solution. The Solve.Care platform is being exercised in the way it was designed to launch a diabetes care network that consists of multiple parties collaborating with each other to deliver a truly immersive experience for the patient in terms of their care management and their care experience. I can tell you that nothing like this has ever been done before. Many of you might be familiar with healthcare delivery models in your country. Certainly many of you are familiar with the healthcare delivery model in the US. And without a doubt, I have not seen a solution deployed of the nature and power of what the Diabetes Care Network is. It comprises of the patient and the care wallet in the hands of the patient, and the same care wallet in the hands of a care coordinator, and the same wallet in the hands of a physician, and the same care wallet in the hands of a care circle member, such as your family, your friends, your coworker, people who care about you. And the ability for all these wallets to operate in a very structured, methodical, clinically and evidence supported protocol so that we can deliver to the patient the type of care that one expects and deserves, but rarely receives in any part of the planet. This is an absolute game changer. Has never been done before, and for us, this is exactly what the Solve.Care platform was designed to do. So think of these 4 wallets constantly being in sync with each other, but not in a random chat environment, but in the format of actual actions and actual decisions being made in the context of evidence-based, clinically sound decision-making process that supports the patient's ability to do what they need to do, the ability of their loved ones to support the patient in their care journey, the ability of the care coordinator to support them with very specific actions, and the ability of the physician to understand how their patient is doing and what the patient needs to do differently, and to have all of them remain in sync at all times through the use of the blockchain, through the use of the Solve.Care network. This is absolutely amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Natalia to present the video that illustrates in a nutshell what the Diabetes Care Network is and how it brings all these parties together in a truly coordinated fashion to achieve a patient-centric diabetes care model that has no parallel in the world that we know of. Natalia? So as you can see, the power of the Diabetes Care Network using the Solve.Care platform on blockchain is really to use the blockchain as a coordination fabric of administrative, clinical, and financial transactions between patients, care coordinators, physicians, and their supporters, and the patient supporters such as the Care Circle. And many of you may or may not have heard of the Care Circle before, but this is a uniquely powerful concept that we have designed into the Solve.Care Care Wallet, which allows me as a patient to invite whoever I think and believe is going to help me through my care journey, be it in the wellness journey, or be it in the disease journey, or be it in the episode journey. A Care Circle are people that I trust to be able to support me and even at certain times act as my proxy or as my decision maker if I'm unable to make those decisions myself, and to give them the appropriate legal and clinical transparency so they can provide the support I need to get well and stay well. The care coordinator in the hands of an administrator, in the hands of an employer, an HR, or a TPA, accountable care organization, or an insurance company, allows a third party who has an interest in my benefit utilization, in my care journey, to support me with appointments, with transportation, with medication, and all those things that go into helping a patient achieve proper outcomes. And of course, you have the clinical wallet, which allows the physician, the practice, the clinic to actually manage my care, monitor my key indicators, and to take action. But more importantly, they get notified when the appropriate care is not being delivered. So the idea of the clinical wallet is not just to give the physician the tools to take care of me, but also to give them the tools to make sure they understand what else they can do for me as a patient and what is not getting done that should be getting done. This combination of these 4 wallets creates a dynamic that addresses clinical, financial, social, and economic support for the patient Again, that has never been accomplished in any program that I have ever encountered anywhere on the planet. And I'm very proud of this Diabetes Care Network. And you can be sure that our clients are responding to this in a very positive way, which brings us to the next point, that the Diabetes Care Network and the Solve.Care platform is gaining traction, not just in the US, where we had initial launches, but really around the world. So let's go to where we are in terms of our business development pipeline. Currently, we have multiple opportunities in North America. And as you know, Dr. Hanekom has joined us recently and I've asked him to be the president for North America region, which comprises of US, Canada, and Mexico, and to focus on launching our platform and in particular disease management networks like the Diabetes Care Network in North America. But we also have significant opportunities in India, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in South Korea, and other parts of Asia, where Jason Daney, our APAC president, has been incredibly busy getting various clients to evaluate and launch wellness and disease management networks similar to the Diabetes Care Network that I just showed you. The message I want you all to understand is very simple. We have established clearly that the Solve.Care platform delivers incredible value to patients, physicians, administrators, insurers, and family members. We have established and demonstrated that it can operate in the context of insurance benefits. Our platform can deliver value in the context of diseases like diabetes, cancer, heart condition, and asthma, and even mental health and behavioral health. And many other disease conditions, practically any disease condition that requires complex care. And we have established that there is clear ROI from using our platform, return on investment. And using those models, we are able to enter a variety of markets around the planet. And there are really no reasons why our expansion will not continue rapidly in 2020 as we have planned. And I'll come to that in a minute. So let's continue to the next slide. I want to again remind you all that I have two regional presidents, Dr. Hanekom in the US, North America, and Jason Daney in the Asia Pacific region. Jason's been with us since summer, and Dr. Hanekom joined about a month and a half ago. And I have really focused on getting the two of them to collaborate with each other. So there is close collaboration between the two of them, even though they have distinct regional responsibilities, because they both bring unique skills to the company. And together they are more powerful than individually. So we have had Dr. Hanekom spend 2 weeks in Asia with Jason. He then spent a couple of weeks in the Kiev office, and both of them Jason and Hanekom will be in the Kiev office again in the second half of January, along with most of the executive team. And the objective here is that whether we are designing a care network for Asian market, or we're designing a care network for the US market or for the European market, all the executives are collaborating and bringing the unique skill set to make sure the network is designed to deliver the maximum value to the patient. Which brings us to the key point. Solve.Care, first and foremost, is about making the patient more effective in taking care of themselves. We are first and foremost about allowing us and our parents and our children to live a healthier life and to manage diseases which they will occur and as they occur. So to that regard, every network design we do must put patient in the center of it. And then our clients who are sponsors of care, be it the insurance company, the hospital, the government agency, the employer, the pharmaceutical company, the TPA, the ACO, their job is to empower me and enable me as a patient to do a better job of taking care of myself and giving me and getting me the care I need. So there's definitely a role for the physician, the family member, the pharmacist, the care coordinator, but end of the day, it's all about the patient. So this is the vision and philosophy that we have, and this is the vision and philosophy that drives Dr. Hanekom, which is the reason we asked him to join us. And I'm really delighted because his clinical expertise is going to help us move forward, both in the commercial and in the government/policy space. So I'm going to switch over to a short video that Dr. Hanekom recorded for all of you earlier today, just sharing with you his impressions and expectations and his initial thoughts of having been with us for about 6 weeks now. So let me switch over to Dr. Hanekom's video, and then I'll come back to you in a minute.
Greetings to the Solve.Care community worldwide. This is Dr. David Hanekom, Global Chief Medical Officer. I have now been with Solve for a month, and I wanted to share with you my impression of the team, our product, and the future. I'm very impressed by the commitment, the passion, and the dedication of the Solve.Care team to make sure our product and our solution meets the needs of our customers. It is wonderful to see the impact of the Diabetes Care Network on the well-being of physicians, patients, and their caregivers, and to begin to see some of the first impressions and feedback from my patients, who are uniformly delighted by the capacities brought to them by our product. This heralds very, very well for a 2020 growth in our company, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you in the future the successes that we're achieving as we're helping patients and their families live a better life, one person at a time. I look forward to interacting with you again, and compliments of the season to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hanekom. And again, as I said, the key objective that I have in hiring and onboarding executives is to make sure that we don't start operating in silos where decisions are made and opportunities are pursued in isolation of others. So the big effort and the big focus is to build an executive team, not executives that operate in singular autonomy and in isolation of each other. So there's going to be an increasing focus and a constant focus on my part to make sure that the current executive team and the expanded executive team that we are planning for the rest of the year, next year, is going to operate as an organization, as a functioning team that works and collaborates, and the opportunities and clients and product needs are not defined by the region where they're coming from, but rather how we best can address them to meet the interest of the patient first. One of the big things that we are looking to do, moving forward to the next slide, as soon as Dr. Hanekom arrived, I asked him to put a lot of focus on expanding our footprint in the accountable care organization and the third-party administrator market. And he started to evaluate our existing go-to-market strategy and quickly identified that not only do we need to increase our US team size, we also need to expand our reseller platform. Now, many of you have heard of Dinocrates as being our reseller in the government space, but what we are very pleased to announce today is the fact that Dinocrates will now be appointed as a reseller for the accountable care organization / third-party administrator space, with specific targets to focus on beginning Q1. The Dinocrates team has a lot of healthcare expertise, and they have been very focused on applying blockchain in a meaningful way to healthcare, and they have been big fans of Solve.Care. But what we have reached out to them, and they have reached out to us and agreed in return, is that we need to put a heavy emphasis on the accountable care organization sector. So we are launching an outbound marketing campaign in Q1, which will be overseen by Dr. Hanekom, and the Dinocrates team led by Jim St. Clair will be working very closely with us to ensure that the ACO market, which consists of almost 1,000 opportunities for us, is well served and well communicated to, and we deliver very clear, tangible ROI and value to the accountable care organization. And a similar sized TPA market for another 1,000 to 1,200 TPAs that are serving self-insured employers and other administrative functions for insurers are also able to take advantage of our platform. And that means that we will be designing and launching care networks that serve both the patient as well as the insured market, as well as the employee segment in terms of wellness and employee incentives and employee programs. So the Solve platform's ability to deliver on these various different care networks is now at a point of maturity where we can aggressively go to market and start selling different designs and different care network models to different markets within the US and leverage that experience in the other parts of the globe as well. So welcome, Jim and team. We are excited to have you on board in an expanded capacity, and we look forward to seeing you very closely collaborate with Solve.Care team on an ongoing basis starting January 2020. In parallel, Jason is expanding his team in Asia, and you are familiar with his plans to bring on Eleanor, who brings tremendous experience from having worked at Aon, one of the largest insurance brokers in the world. We introduced Eleanor a few days ago. Eleanor will be coming to Kiev and spending a couple of weeks with us early January, and she and the rest of the executive team will be here to ensure that we plan and execute a very robust and aggressive growth plan for 2020. And she will be reporting to Jason Daney, and we cannot wait for her to begin working with us on a daily basis, and neither can the team. So we welcome her to the Solve.Care team, and we look forward to Eleanor being very successful in expanding our footprint with the TPA market in Asia as well. The next big thing that I want to talk about, and many of you may have heard of this already and some of you may not have, is that Solve.Care has launched a staking program. Before we jump into the details of the program, I want you to understand the basic objectives behind the program. The whole idea of the staking program as it stands today is to engage all of you into helping us deliver more care networks around the world. And we want you to generate revenue, to get paid for supporting our global expansion. So the idea of staking program is multifold. One, we want to make sure that those who are truly committed to the Solve token, to the Solve platform, to the Solve community, to the Solve ecosystem, are the ones who are bidding on these projects where there is clear opportunity to add value. So we are inviting people to bid on these revenue generating projects and to win them and to get paid, but we also want you to commit to our community, our platform, our token, our ecosystem, and to have more than a project view. It would be easy to put out a project on some freelancer website and to say, okay, we are looking for a 5-person team or a 3-person team to build a care card or to build an endpoint or to build a care protocol or to build a new network design. That's not the issue. But what is their commitment level to our community? What is their commitment level to our platform? What is their commitment level to quality? What is their commitment level to healthcare done right? So we are not looking for just developers or just marketers or just clinical clinicians. We are looking for those who believe in our ecosystem, those who understand the Solve is a disruptive, innovative, unique platform, unique architecture. It leverages blockchain. It's all about patient empowerment. It's about transparency and auditability. It's about real-time payments using the Solve token. It isn't just another healthcare platform, and there are far too many of those out there. This is about a movement. And if you want to be part of this movement, then you need to be part of this movement, which means you can benefit from joining the movement, but you also have to create value for the movement, for this ecosystem, for all of you. So the notion here is that we will put out opportunities, and there are more opportunities than we can possibly deal with alone. So we are going to engage all of you in one way, shape, or form to progress the company forward, to deliver on these projects and new networks and new protocols around the world in different languages. But you must also commit to the community. Now, we're not asking for money from you. We're not asking you to invest in the company. We're not asking you to lose money. But we are saying you need to stake tokens if you want to be part of our project ecosystem. Those are your tokens. They belong to you. They'll always belong to you. But you have to commit those tokens as a proof of commitment, as a proof of quality, as a stake in the community's success, as a stake in our ecosystem success. And yes, if you don't perform on time, then you need to be able to come back and correct it, because what we are looking for is a partnership where both sides have the same objective: serve the patient and grow the Solve community. So the Solve staking program is about quality, it's about commitment, and it's about making sure that those who bid on our projects take the time to understand how Solve.Care platform works and how it is designed to function and what your role in that is. So I'm very proud of this program because this is new and unique, and we have built this program to work in a very unique way. So first, what it isn't. This is not a staking program where you deposit tokens in a bank account and then you get interest. We will not, our tokens are utility tokens. They're not going to yield interest or any kind of a benefit from being deposited anywhere. That's not what we will do ever. What we are doing here is saying, listen, here are 10 active projects. These projects vary from small to medium to large in scale. Here is the estimated budget for this project. This is where approximately we think this project is worth. You are able to bid on these projects after you stake tokens, which means we know that you are a serious contender and you have taken the time to understand the Solve token model and the Solve platform architecture and capabilities. And once you stake tokens, you are able to submit your bid. If your bid is a winning bid, then your tokens will remain locked for the duration of the project. If you are not the winner, then your tokens will be returned immediately. But for you to bid on the project, depending on the size of the project, you will be staking Solve tokens. It forces you to understand what the Solve token is, forces you to understand how the Solve platform is designed to work. It engages you in our community, and we make sure that you have a commitment to quality and timeliness. And this is not just another outsourcing project that you will bid on with the hope of winning, but you're going to commit yourself to delivering value to the Solve community and the Solve platform, and most importantly, the Solve patient. So this is how the staking program works. And we are very proud to say that we have already launched 9 or 10 projects on our project website, which can be accessed from Solve.Care/staking. And these projects vary, as you can see, from $100 project to $20,000 revenue project, and the stake associated with that. Now, based on the community feedback, we will adjust stakes for projects moving forward. But the more complex and more strategic the project, like the COPD protocol or the APAC EHR endpoint or the Cerner EHR endpoint, these are large projects that require a significant stake. We're not looking for just another outsourcing outfit. We are looking for a committed community participant who is going to come in and help us build these networks, or build these protocols, build these endpoints, get paid for it, and when they do a quality job, they will get repeat business, but they also have a stake in the community, and they have made a commitment to the advancement of the Solve token as the ultimate healthcare token underneath all of this platform. The staking was activated this morning. I believe it's been about 2.5 hours, and the numbers are coming in, and I believe my team told me that we have over 1 million tokens staked as of the few minutes ago, and I'm sure the numbers will change by the end of the day. I'm very pleased with that performance, but ultimately it's really about getting quality bids. So I'm looking forward to the bids that are coming in, and our team will evaluate those bids on both in terms of quality and cost and timeliness factors. And we will then start announcing the award of these projects in early January, early to mid-January, depending on how many bids we have. Our general view is that we would like to see at least 3 bids per project before we start evaluating them. But in terms of the evaluation criteria, it is set by each project. Some projects are simpler projects have primarily a certification and qualification criteria, and the more complex projects have timeliness, quality, methodology criteria as well. So when you bid on a project, you receive a bid form that you have to fill out and submit your proposal along with qualifications and resumes of your teammates so that we can evaluate your ability to deliver on this project. And again, those who win the project keep their tokens staked for the duration, and those who don't win the project will receive their tokens, unlock their tokens immediately. More details on that on the website, but I encourage you not only to participate in our projects, but also to refer others to participate in the projects, because end of the day, what are we trying to do? What we're trying to do is to make sure that we can serve more clients, launch more networks, engage more patients, get more care wallets in the hands of families and friends and co-workers and physicians and patients, so that they can access the right set of services no matter where they live. And my vision and mission has always been the same. Every man, woman, and child who needs healthcare has access to a care wallet and an appropriately configured care network that they can access for the disease and condition that they're dealing with. Whether that's sub-Saharan Africa or that's in the middle of a highly developed European nation or the middle of the United States, it doesn't matter. The right network for available in every region that makes sense for the population based on various disease conditions. So invite you all to look at the Solve project portal, the staking portal, and I invite you to either bid on and or refer to your friends and to your coworkers and partners and resellers that you might be familiar with who can participate in the variety of projects. And we have a large list of projects waiting to be launched on the Solve staking portal, and they will come in time and quickly. So this list of projects that you're seeing is just a first list of projects, and we have quite a few more coming behind it. Behind the staking from a project perspective, we also are looking to expand the staking program to give access to Solve Academy courses. In simple terms, we will start publishing the Solve Academy courses that are currently delivered to the newcomers who join the company, to also outsiders, so they can start preparing for and learning about the Solve platform, Care Wallet API, Endpoint API, and all those things that allow us to expand our platform in each region. We also plan to launch a certification program where certain people, once they have passed sufficient courses, can get certified and then have access to deeper level APIs. We will be publishing 3 to 5 advisory role slots, which with a sufficient level of staking would allow them to participate in the advisory role and audit the product management council and potentially even visit our office for a half-a-day visit. And last but not the least, staking will give the next phase of staking will allow you to have the right to publish care cards and care protocols in the marketplace. More on that later. But those are the upcoming staking models. So ultimately, the project model is one staking opportunity, academy course access is another, certification is another track, advisory role is another track, and marketplace publishing is another track. So we will launch additional staking tracks. We have launched track 1, and track 2, 3, 4, and 5 are to follow over the first half of 2020. So let me then summarize about talking about 2019, because that was a year, this has been a year that has been incredible and incredibly productive, and in many ways incredibly challenging. We set clear goals at the beginning of 2019 to acquire a diverse palette of clients with the objective of having clients at least in the ACO, pharma, insurer, TPA space. And I'm very pleased to say that we have either signed or are in the final stages of signing clients across that entire spectrum of sectors. The next goal was to make sure that I have sufficient executive team in place to help manage the growth. And while we have done a great job on that, we will continue to expand that. I'll come to that in a minute. Of course, building the team is foundational, and our team has doubled in size since the beginning of 2019, both in the developmental area as well as in the non-technical areas, particularly business development and marketing and administration. To continue to move the product forward, so Care Wallet becomes a de facto solution for every man, woman, and child. And that really is more than the wallet, it's wallet and networks. So we are making tremendous progress on that area, and I'm pleased with where we are. Although I would say this, that I would have liked to have seen Care Wallet progress technologically further than it has, but it is on its way to accelerate next year, and I'm looking forward to a faster release cycle for the Care Wallet. The other goal was equity round. The equity round was launched, as you know, in late second half of 2019. We are very pleased with the progress, and we are moving with caution to evaluate our options. We have come to the conclusion that equity is best taken from strategic rather than financial players. So we have zeroed in on the term sheets and the negotiations with those who are looking at Solve.Care as a strategic investment rather than a pure financial investment. And having met with enough financial players, I came to the conclusion that Solve's vision and mission really must be protected and must be managed with a long-term view. And we need people who have a long-term horizon as our capital partners rather than a 2-3 year window to exit. And while it is our plan to go public, as we have mentioned before, and no changes there, we will continue to focus on that. I still want to make sure that my capital partners have a long-term view of the impact we can have on humanity and healthcare around the planet. Our goal was also to have brand and recognition and to make sure that our community is well informed. And I think most of you will agree that with tremendous investment in the brand and community, we are one of the most transparent companies on the planet, blockchain or not, healthcare or not, public or private. We have gone to extreme lengths to make sure all of you understand what we are doing, why we are doing it, where we are doing it, how we are doing it, to the point that some people wonder if we are telling too much and if our competition is able to learn too much from by listening to our sessions. And you're right, the competition does listen to us, they do copy us, but the best form of flattery is imitation. And while they can copy us in concept, execution is a whole different problem. So I'm not particularly concerned about the competition being able to match us. In some ways, we're helping the overall healthcare ecosystem evolve by informing the clients and competitors alike what it takes to really be effective and successful application of blockchain, and how can you really disrupt the market to the advantage of the patient. And that in itself is such a big mission that I am comfortable sharing the mission and our approach with the hope that they can emulate, but they will not be able to beat us. And then revenue growth, right? It has always been our goal that Solve.Care should be revenue generating, and we were at the end of first year revenue generating. We generated revenue 18 and 19 is no different. Our revenue targets for 19 have been met. I published those at the beginning of the year. We hit them spot on, and we will continue to set even more aggressive targets in 2020. So overall, I think that this year has met all the key indicators. But I will also say this, that this didn't happen easily, and this didn't happen without a lot of personal sacrifice from the Solve.Care team. There have been many nights where people have not gone home. There have been many weekends where they have not seen their families. Many of us have spent far too many nights on the airplanes and in hotels, but it has all ultimately yielded a tremendous value for the community, for the platform, for the client, and ultimately for the patient. So I'm very pleased with what we have done, and I think that 2020 will be even more remarkable year. But 19 is something that one should not forget to celebrate and forget to congratulate each other on, and all of you are part of that journey. So while I'm eternally thankful to the Solve team, I'm also very grateful to the community and our clients and our partners who have participated in this remarkable journey. And before I wrap up on 19, I will say one more thing. This is not my first company. This is certainly not my first attempt at building a high growth team in a high growth market, but Solve is the most challenging and the most rewarding, and in many ways the most fulfilling project, company, team that I have ever led. And it is also the most demanding in terms of personal time and in terms of just sheer human effort. So it's incredibly rewarding, but it's also incredibly challenging in terms of keeping this growth curve moving at the speed at which you're moving. And to that effect, in 2020, I plan to make some adjustments to allow us to continue to grow at the speed at which we have been growing and still find a greater level of balance between our personal lives and our work life. So here are the 6-pronged strategy for 2020. The first and the most important is to launch multiple care networks. The success of the DCAN in terms of patient impact and clinical impact and cost impact is that we can move forward aggressively and launch additional care networks. And more than 5 care networks are in the design phase, ranging from different disease models to different administrative models to even payment models. So different networks for different needs, but on the same platform. And Jason is designing benefit and wellness networks in Asia, and Dr. Hanekom is designing disease management networks, and all those networks ultimately become an asset of the Solve.Care platform. The other key element is that we are moving in 2020 to include B2C networks in addition to B2B. Many of you have heard and know that our network focus in 2019 was around serving client-sponsored networks. And which means that you had to be a member of the client's ecosystem, be it an insurance company or a hospital or a TPA or an ACO, to use our care networks. And while that's great because it brings us a lot of members, it's not great because average consumer who does not have that affiliation with our client could not access our networks. So we are very focused on enhancing the Solve.Care platform capabilities by launching care networks that are non-sponsored or open, which means that depending on the region you live in, you'll be able to access certain networks without needing any affiliation with an employer or an insurance company or a hospital system and so on. I'm very excited about that because the B2C model, in addition to B2B, gives us a greater expansion opportunity than just the B2B would. I still believe the B2B is absolutely the way to gain scale and do so quickly. But we also want to reach out to billions of people who do not have a sponsor for their care to start getting access to the benefits and capabilities of the Solve.Care platform. So more to come on that, but understand this, that the focus for Solve.Care in 2020 is in equal measures B2B networks and B2C networks. The second strategy point is three-pronged expansion in Asia, Europe, and USA. So you are familiar with our two presidents who've been appointed in Asia and USA in driving that growth. And we are also seeing significant opportunity develop in Europe that will soon require us to focus on adding the executive layer to deal with the European opportunity. And that's really where we're going to focus on. We believe that that three-pronged expansion plan is sufficient for 2020 and will allow us to exceed our revenue and our expansion targets. We are also aggressively adding partnerships to the mix, not only resellers but also delivery partners and development partners. And it is my plan to open a second technical operation in Asia to help us serve the Asian markets in terms of card development and or protocol development, either in the form of partnerships and or in the form of a Solve.Care facility, or both. But it is a key objective that we expand our delivery, development, and reseller partnerships in 2020 to allow opportunities to be handled more than just what Dr. Hanekom, Jason, and I can handle. So clearly, we need to expand and we need to expand rapidly. Other big area of focus is that I'm going to add two more executives to the team, the Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer, in the first half of 2020. And I have published a restructured org chart to allow for this company to grow rapidly. And in addition to the regional presidents, the CFO and CEO positions is what will be open. The CEO position is already open and is being actively searched upon. And the CFO position will be added in early Q1. The COO position is based in Ukraine. It requires a 3-year minimum commitment to be full-time present here in the Ukraine office and to be responsible for product management, development, delivery, and support functions, while the CFO position is designed to handle all the remaining parts of the company: HR, legal, finance, IT, and administration. And these two roles, I believe, are fundamental to manage the global scaling of the Solve.Care platform and the company. So if you are familiar with a truly competent executive who understands and is committed to the kind of disruption that we are causing and has the ability to help us achieve that global expansion, I would welcome you to reach out to me or to my team members and give us some referrals or advice. But we are doing a global search for both the CEO and the CFO. And these two positions we would like to fill by end of Q1, certainly by end of Q2. Also, we have a huge focus on Korea. We have a lot of opportunities coming out of Korea, both in the hospital and the pharma sector. as well as to launch a B2C network. So we are in the midst of designing two care networks that are specifically targeting the Korean audience. We find that to be a uniquely intriguing market with a lot of opportunity. Even Korea being heavily regulated and heavily structured around what the patient can receive and what the physician can do and how the system operates. Our time in Korea has clearly identified significant opportunities where we can improve patient-physician hospital ability to interact, to collaborate, and to coordinate care. So look for, in the Q1 itself, at least one, and then the second quarter, another care network that will target both the B2B and the B2C space in Korea. We also are opening new positions in Korea to hire people to help us launch these networks. So again, we welcome the community's support and involvement in launching the next two care networks that are focused on Korea in the first half of 2020. And last but not the least, we are in the midst of an acquisition planning process. We are doing negotiations around an acquisition that we believe will add significantly to our capabilities in terms of serving our insurance and our hospital clients. So this acquisition we had hoped to close by end of the year, but with the holidays coming in, I think the more realistic time frame for closing this would be sometime mid Q1. I'm excited because this brings a capability that typically the lack of this capability in the Care Wallet, let me rephrase it. This is a capability every patient needs, particularly in the US and in Canada, in the UK, and in Australia, in almost all developed nations. But all of this is today paper-based, incredibly complicated, and beyond frustrating for patients and their families. So we are introducing this new capability through an acquisition that will make Care Wallet incredibly more powerful in terms of how we manage patient rights and patients' ability to control their information and control their care models, and to be able to delegate the authority to make decisions on their behalf if they're incapacitated by and not able to make their clinical decisions. I think this is a very important advancement of the Care Wallet because it gives the power to the person where it matters the most, us, our families, and people who care about us. So look for that announcement. We are in the final stages of this acquisition and negotiation, and I expect to make this acquisition partly cash, partly tokens, and this is going to be a great step forward for Solve.Care as we move forward to adding to the Care Wallet. So that's a summary. There's a lot more to cover, but I know that we're going to run out of time, so my team is signaling to me that we should move towards a Q&A. So I have a list of questions here that have been handed to me, that have been collected, and there is actually a long list of questions. So let me take a few of these questions and try to answer them, and then the rest of them we can get on a chat session over the next couple of days. The first question is about staking. What is the criteria of being selected? So that's a project-specific criteria. The criteria for project selection is really based on skill, timeliness, cost, and the process and methodology that the bidder is communicating to us. So in the end, we are focused on the same triangle of cost, quality, and timeliness. And every project has a different criteria. So the bid form for each project lists out the minimum requirements and the selection criteria, and it will vary. A translation project for clinical cards requires the translator to have a clinical background, and we would want to make sure that the translation company has qualifications to translate clinical and medical terms accurately into their native language. Versus building an APAC EHR endpoint is a completely different equation. You need to demonstrate knowledge of the APAC system, that you should have built interfaces in the past, or you should at least understand how the data model for APAC is structured and how Solve.Care Care Wallet ingests data through the endpoints, and how does the real-time or batch file a model of interaction will work. So very different skill set, very different criteria. So for each project, the bid form identifies the requirements and allows you to submit your bid, and we'll evaluate all bids as you would in any other procurement. The next question is there going to be a staking option available to all token holders who are not developers? So as you saw, we are looking at launching multiple models of engagement. And I want you to think of staking not as staking, but rather as a community engagement model. So, of course, we want people who are not developers to also participate in our ecosystem development, be it as a translator or as a quality assurance or as a advisor or as simply a student of the academy. So there are many ways that the community will be able to engage. But what are we really after? We're after the fact that you should benefit from participating in the Solve community, and the community should benefit from you participating in the project. So we are trying to create a confluence of an alignment of interests of the project bidder, the project participant, or the staking entity, staking person with the objectives of Solve.Care, which is to advance the platform, to deploy more care networks, to engage more people on the care wallet, and to deliver better value for the patient. It's the alignment of interest we are after, and staking is a way to ensure that this is not a unilateral relationship, but a bilateral relationship. There is a suggestion to use staking of Solve tokens as a requirement or as a criteria for people leaving reviews on physicians and their quality. This is an excellent idea. I heard about this a few times before. And one of the networks that we are designing right now, where we are looking to bring in the ability for referrals and for the patient to access a variety of services, it's a very powerful network. We are designing it right now, one of the most exciting networks that we are designing right now, that we plan to actually launch in Korea first. In that network, we see the application of this particular functionality to make sense. Because any kind of a quality review or an experiential review by the patient of their clinical journey is a very important one. And in Care Wallet, we already know they're a real patient, they had a real appointment. So we know this is not a fictitious scenario, but a real incident or an episode on which the patient has a right to leave a review. By staking their tokens, we can make sure the review is not incidental, but it is backed by their tokens in the sense that it is well thought out and evidence-based. So we are going to look at this model. It may change a little bit. It may not be straightforward, stake your tokens to leave a review, but we will allow you to, in the context of a specific care network, use tokens as a proof that your review is based on personal and actual experience. Will you allow multiple people to stake to a contract while they are verified reviewed? The objective here is that there is a bidding period during which people can stake and bid, and then there is a review period. Once the review period begins, the bidding period will stop. And during the review period, we will not accept any more bids. If we don't have sufficient bids, we may extend the bidding period, but we're not going to mix the bidding and the verification review process. We want to be fair to everyone and make sure that once the bidding period is over, they are then assured that they are competing on an equal playing field. And we will publish the fact that we have received X number of bids and we are now closing the bidding process. Can groups collaborate on a project? Absolutely. We hope you do. The whole idea of the community engagement is that you will either have the team in-house or create a team that can serve the needs of the project. And let me give you an example why I want you to collaborate. So we have a requirement, immediate requirement, to translate the diabetes care network into Spanish and into other languages, Asian languages. Now, translating the diabetes care network care cards to Spanish is not just running it through Google Translator. You have to understand contextually the clinical terms that are being used to make sure the patient understands what numbers they're looking at and why those numbers are important and what actions they need to take. And then culturally, we have to adapt it to the right guidance. In a purely vegetarian, predominantly vegetarian country, talking about eating more fish and meat is not necessarily the best care advice. So we need to have cultural adaptation of the cards, not just a clinical and literal translation. So we expect that a clinician, a dietitian, and a multilingual translator can collaborate to develop the care cards in that appropriate language for the culturally conscious and culturally sensitive context that we need to provide in the card. So definitely it's going to be a collaborative effort, and that's really what we are looking for. So we would hope that a team can bid on the project. Now, the team can pool their tokens, or they can tell us that we would like to split the staking from multiple wallets. We will accommodate all that. But at the end of the day, the objective here is that we want the community to come together to bring care networks to your region, to your population. The next question is, if the jobs are outsourced, won't the contractors want to trade the tokens to fiat at some point in order to get paid? So the objective of this community engagement is not that we are outsourcing. We are looking to engage you in bringing care networks to your particular jurisdiction, geography, clinical, administrative, financial, and cultural context. And no matter how many people we hire, we will never be able to replicate the cultural and local context. So if we are going to take the diabetes care network, or the COPD network, or the cancer network, or the congestive heart failure network, or the well child network, these networks are going to need to be culturally adapted, clinically and non-clinically. And that is the purpose of this staking program. You need to commit to bringing the care network to your community by either being a small or a big part of that. And in doing so, you are making sure that the network is designed and operated correctly. And your stake in the community assures us that you're not looking at this as a pure outsourcing project, but rather you are committed to the Solve.Care mission. Having said that, we will pay for the project either in dollars, euro, or in Solve tokens, depending upon the project and the jurisdiction in which the project is being operated. Some jurisdictions we will not pay in tokens because it makes no sense. They are not allowed to operate legally in that market and accept tokens as a payment. In other jurisdictions, that's perfectly acceptable. So project by project, the payment is either in dollars or tokens. And in some cases, we'll allow you to choose your payment model. In most cases, we will dictate the payment model, whether it is dollars or tokens. As far as trading the tokens, we are not expecting your stake tokens are returned to you at the end of the project. What you do with them is entirely up to you. But the objective of the project is that project revenue that you receive for doing services is specific to the project parameters, which can be, as I mentioned, either tokens or fiat. When a team wins the bid, do they need to sign a contract for the project? It's a combination of documents. It's certainly a project SOW, and there's also a NDA, and there are terms and conditions. So there are multiple documents that will govern the project behavior and the team behavior. So the answer is yes. The end of the bid, the awarded contract results in a signed contract. So that's some of the earlier quick staking questions. Let me move to some of the other much general questions. And let me see, how much time do we have left?
1 minute.
1 minute. Well, let's go over by about 5 minutes. The question is, how are the existing clients doing, and how is the deployment of services on track and on target? So in terms of existing clients, we are meeting our targets. We have been working very hard with our client base to ensure that we are in alignment with their priorities and with their deadlines. And the deployment of these networks is ultimately the only measure that matters to them. And I'm very pleased to say that we are meeting client expectations, and our clients are able to continue to talk to us about future expansion and enhancements to their networks and to the utilization of their networks. What is more interesting, or equally interesting, is the fact that we have numerous clients that are looking to leverage what we have already built and tweak it and deploy it in their own segments. So we are currently engaged in conversations with other pharmaceutical companies, with other third-party administrators, with more accountable care organizations, and with insurers, both in the US and in Asia. And what we are really excited about is that everything that they're asking for is largely in line with what we have already built or can easily configure for them. So the reusability of the platform is what I'm after, and that is growing, and that's really the ultimate measure. Because if you're going to launch hundreds of care networks around the planet, we need to be able to do them effectively and quickly. And if you were to look at one product capability that I'm most interested in 2020, it's about accelerated ability to deliver a new care network from scratch and to do so within days and weeks. And that is really where I think the holy grail lies in being able to launch the Solve.Care platform globally and truly achieve where hundreds of millions or billions of people are using the care wallet. It has to be relevant, it has to be personal, it has to be effective, it has to be available. And those objectives are only met if we launch a care network that is relevant to you or your family's needs, no matter where you live. And that's why the two-pronged strategy. On the left side, we need to expand the number of networks. And on the right side, we've got to expand the ability of the care wallet and the accessibility of the wallet to these various networks and the Solve token that drives all of it. There are next few questions. Does the token liquidity present any issues? And if yes, how will this be remedied? So clearly, Solve token is a fundamental part of our platform, and the token's availability does matter, and the token should be available freely to those who need it. Now, not every network needs a Solve token, you all know that, but most do. And meaning that every consumer of the care wallet does not need to have a Solve token unless they join a network that requires them to consume the Solve token. And within this care wallet, there's opportunity to use a Solve token as well. But the availability of the token is important, both from a B2C perspective and a B2B perspective. And we are monitoring that, and we are taking and planning to take action that will increase the liquidity of the token, or the availability of the token rather, in different geographies and different markets. Something we monitor and something we want to make sure that we continue to support, because ultimately the Solve ecosystem is the wallet, the platform, and the token. And that triangle is a very powerful one. The platform gives us the ability to administer and coordinate benefits and clinical care and financial transactions. The wallet makes it relevant, personal, and usable for every human being. And the token allows us the ability to administer, track, and financially transact both within the network and across networks. So this triangle stands together. One without the other is not as powerful. And we will continue to enhance that triangle. And in doing so, both the wallet availability and the token availability are key factors, along with more care networks on the platform. There is a question about SWOT analysis. Has Solve.Care done a SWOT analysis? And the answer is yes. And we will do another one at the beginning of 2020. The executive team is meeting for about 2 weeks in the second half of January. Actually, end of second week of January. And we will all be together for extended periods of time to ensure that we have a clear understanding of the 4 Ps: people, process, product, and pipeline. And all 4 of those are critically important for us to ensure that we have appropriate plans, strategies, and strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats figured out. We are so intimately involved with the company that these are not new, but the goal is to really use the SWOT as a way to set the course in remediating some of these areas where we see opportunities and threats. And one of the areas that we have already identified in our last SWOT was the need to bring in an operating and a financial executive, and ergo we have already launched that effort, but there are other areas where we can focus on. All of this is basically growth management. It's easy when you're growing slowly. It's much harder when you're growing at rocket ship speed. And it's even harder when you have global aspirations and you're literally operating in a 24/7 time scale, where when one office is closed, the other office is open. And we literally have Solve.Care right now operating in a 24-hour cycle, where between Asia, US, Europe, and Ukraine, we have no time frame when at least one office of Solve.Care is not open and actively working. And in some ways that's a challenge, but in other ways that's an opportunity to accelerate everything. Imagine if we could run a 24-hour cycle in development, delivery, and support, that would really change the speed at which we can go to market. So yes, this is a very aggressive growth environment, but it's also a great opportunity for us to outrun the competition. The next question is, the team is expanding well. Is this reflective of Solve's growth, and how is this bolstering and growing sales exposure and client base? It's actually all about growth. I'm not a believer in growing the company without a specific revenue and specific opportunity in a specific sector behind it. We're not looking to be a body shop or a services organization that measures the strength in thousands of people. We are measured by our ability to produce recurring revenue and our ability to get a wallet in the hands of millions of people. And that means that we must grow when we must add to our team when we are ready to grow. And we need the team to help us grow. But end of the day, the growth curve drives the team expansion rather than the other way around. So we tend to hire people into our team when we have clear line of sight into where the growth opportunity is, what the revenue potential is, and what the time frame to achieve that revenue is. A few more questions and we'll wrap up. So one question that keeps coming up is, how simple is the Care Wallet experience, and will older people be able to use it? And that's a constant theme in our design and in our development. Care Wallet in itself is a very powerful concept in that it is a container that belongs to you for the rest of your life. And whether you're part of Network A or Network B or Network C, or you live in China or you live in Cambodia or you move to California, the Care Wallet stays with you. You simply switch networks. And the cards you receive from the network may be entirely different based on your need, your disease condition, whether you're single or you're married, you have kids or you don't, whether you are at a point in time in your life where you have chronic diseases or not. Those are all various life events. But the life event may cause you to join another network, but it doesn't ever break your relationship with the Care Wallet. So clearly, for the Care Wallet to stay with you, we need to make sure that it's easy, comprehensible, and usable. And I have the left-hand principle, that if I'm a right-handed person carrying a bag of groceries in my right hand, I should be able to operate the Care Wallet with my left, which is not my normal hand in terms of managing applications. And I should be able to do that while I'm walking from the grocery store to the car. So that simplicity and usage is not easily achieved, but it can be done by understanding my preferences, by learning how I prefer to use the wallet, by having avatars that fit my particular method and preferences in terms of left-handed and right-handed use, and many other factors. So Care Wallet is a very ambitious global application whose objective is to make it easy for grandmother and granddaughter to experience a wallet as they need to see it, depending upon their age, gender, need, and preferences. And we will continue to invest in the wallet to make it that way. And the whole objective is that no single insurer, how big they are, or hospital system, or the pharma company, can ever afford to build a wallet of the kind we are building. So they are better off leasing the wallet, and they're better off publishing their services through the Care Network, rather than building another single-purpose app that few people will use and even fewer will like. So this is a very strategic approach for us, and we will continue to do so. I know we are well past the time here. There are many, many more questions here. What I will try to do is have the team compile these and other questions, and over the holidays, when I have some time, when the family is sleeping, I'll get up and type out these answers in a chat session with you all. But I want to end by saying two things. First, thank you for your support. Thank you for your involvement. Thank you for always being involved and engaged in guiding and shaping Solve.Care platform and wallet and our strategy. We are encouraged and supported by you more than you realize. Many companies operate in a vacuum. They hide behind closed doors and they do what they think is right. Then they come to market and realize nobody wants what they built. We are building this in a very transparent way, and we always welcome your feedback. Even if it's not necessarily the feedback we want to hear, we will always take it into consideration. Second, this has been a momentous year, and 2020 looks even more promising, but let's not focus on 2020. Let's just take a moment to celebrate the 2019 successes, and let's make sure that we take this time to spend with our families, with our friends, with our loved ones. So I wish you all a wonderful holiday season. I hope you enjoy yourself, and I look forward to connecting with you all in January some point and give you another update. And in the meanwhile, please keep communicating with us and let us know what we can do to make sure that you understand what Solve.Care is doing, how, when, and why. Thank you again. Happy holidays and have a great year.